Hey guys, it's Beth, and today I have some projects that we are going to make together featuring this wreath die set that I recently got from In Love Art Shop. They have a wide variety of metal dies, some rubber stamps, and they have some kind of stamp and die sets. And then they also have some other products like decorative pillows as well. So I will bring up their website at the end, but you have to be sure to go and check them out because all of their prices are very reasonable. And I loved this set. I had been looking for some wreath dies anyway, and so I was so glad that I found this set because it has 4 different styles in it, which made it very versatile, and then they all cut really well. They were very easy to use. So I'm going to show you some of the projects that I've made, and then we're going to make a couple of them together. So the first card I made was this shabby chic birthday card, and I just took this pretty turquoise and pink rose wood grain paper from, I believe it's Paper Studio. I have a pad of it in my stash. Love that paper. And I have a craft banner here, and then I cut this wreath. Use this wreath die to cut the wreath out of green cardstock, and then just layered some white paper flowers over where the little berries were, just to kind of make look the berries were the leaves from my flowers, and then just added some light turquoise pearls on top of the flowers to tie in with that light turquoise of the paper. I have a baker's twine bow up here that's also kind of a light turquoise and white. And then down here at the bottom of the card, I have a little bit of lace from my stash that I took across the card and then tied it up with some more of that turquoise and white baker's twine. So I just thought that one was really pretty, very feminine and shabby chic. And this was the second card I made, and this is the one that we'll be making together today, and it is a congratulations card, and I meant for it to be a wedding card. I used some paper from the Heidi Grace line and like Cherish and Love. I've had some of this in my stash for a while, and it's all reversible, which I loved. It's like this was one of the patterns I used with the Cherish and Love on the front, the words and kind of the different patterns, and then there's that purple background. So I was excited to be able to use that, and again I just thought this made a very elegant and pretty congratulations card. And the die I used for this one was the heart die, and so I actually used the die to cut my wreath here, but then I cut it again. I first cut it out of, I don't have much left of it. I do. Was this paper because I wanted the purple side. It has that pattern on the back. So I cut it out of that first for my actual wreath, and then I used the die and cut it again out of this paper. And I fussy cut the hearts off of my second one, my second wreath that I cut, just so I could have matching hearts down here for my banner that says congratulations. So it just kind of shows you that there's a different way to use the die. And then our last project is a sign that we are going to frame, just using a Dollar Tree frame, but I'm taking the glass off because the glare is horrible. So we're just using some white wood grain paper that kind of reminds me of shiplap actually, and I'm making this to go in part of my craft studio space. That one wall has some white shiplap, and so for the opposite wall I was going to try and tie the two together. So I liked this paper for that reason. And then I just have some letters that I cut from my silhouette to make the letters to spell the word home, but instead of cutting an O out of my paper for my letters, I am using the wreath die as my O. And so the die I'm using for this one was this kind of, looked like more of a greenery wreath. So that's what we'll be using for that project, and I haven't made this one yet, we are gonna make that one together. So we're gonna start with the sign, because that is our largest project. So I cut I used this greenery wreath die and cut it twice because I wanted to make my O a little fuller. So this is what the die looks like by itself. And so I kind of wanted to overlap them a little bit to make it a little bit of a fuller O. So I'm probably going to go ahead and put my O down first because I'm going to be using wet glue for that. So we'll see how well I can work with my wet glue here. But I want to be able to let that be drying. Kind of put the glue on all these intersections here. This is when I wish I had replacement cartridges for my sticker maker, my big Xyron sticker maker. That would work perfect for these, so you don't have to mess with the wet glue, because I am not all that great with the wet glue. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get one of these down. And then let it start drying while I'm working on the other letters, and then we can put the other die down. I kind of use a couple of things that I happen to have here on this desk to hold that wreath down, and then in the meantime I'm just going to use my since this is going to be framed, I'm just going to use my ATG on the letters so that it goes a little quicker. So if you don't have a silhouette, you could easily just buy some wooden letters. Like Dollar Tree sells wooden letters, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, they all sell the little wooden letters that you could trace and cover with paper, or you could just trace them and then cut them out if you didn't want the bulkiness of the wood behind it. I think we're going to come down that way a little bit. Or you could use stencils. Or if you guys would like, I could cut you some letters and send them to you. I'd be happy to do that. And this is kind of why I'm using ATG. Oh, come on. Line my M up with where I had my E there. There we go. I'm so excited about this sign. Where I work on our blocks and where I work on my videos, that desk, that part of the room doesn't have a whole lot of decoration. So I am excited to add this fun piece. This will make me happy. Okay, so there's kind of our rough outline. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the glue to my second wreath here. I've been looking for a wreath die for a while, been wanting to play with them. And so I kind of fell in love with the fact that there were 4 different varieties in this one set. And I like the fact that they're intricate cuts, more intricate than what they're not chunky. So to me, that makes them a little more intricate, but they're not overly intricate where I would totally lose patience with trying to get all the pieces out. Patience is not one of my strengths. Okay, so now I just want to make sure I line this one up opposite of the other one so that we get the fullness effect here. And we are going to let this dry again for a moment, and then we will come back and put our frame together and then get to work on our card. Okay, so I think that is dry. That is on there pretty well. So we're going to put our frame together. Oh my gosh, I love that. So simple, yet totally my farmhouse rustic style. Okay, so we can get this all put back together. Again, this frame came from the Dollar Tree, and it's just an 8x10 frame. You could pick up a frame anywhere, use a frame that you already have. So my paper is cut to about 8x10, just shy of 8x10, and I believe my letters are about, my ruler here, should have noted this earlier, my letters are about 3.5 inches tall. And that's about like the dies. The dies are about 3 inches. This one's 3.5 by 3. So, get rid of the glare, but there we go. Love this. So I will try and get a picture of that on my wall as well to show you guys the finished look. So now we're going to move on to our next project, which is the congratulations card, and it is using the heart die. So like I said, I used the die twice, cut it 2 times. So on this one, I used the die to cut my wreath, and then I put my cutout wreath on this Cherish and Love paper background, and then just fussy cut around it because I wanted that to be the background from my die. And so I was trying to make sure it covered all of the little cutouts here on the sides. So I'm starting out with a cream card base, and this is 110-pound cardstock. And I have kind of pre-cut all of my pieces just to make this go a little quicker. But I have my card mat, and this is again from that Heidi Grace, one of the patterns from the Heidi Grace. It's reversible. I love that. I love the colors, the browns and the purples. And I'm just going to put that on my card. I've got it cut down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and that just gives me that little bit of a border around the edge of my card mat. Put that on, and so I have cut a circle, and it is 3.5 inches, and I wanted it big enough that I could layer my wreath on there and have just a little bit of a border. Like there's some of the purple hearts that are going to overhang, and that's okay. And one thing that I like about this paper too is I don't know that it comes across in the video, but there we go. You can see there is a little bit of embossing detail on the paper. So when I did my card here, I used some glossy accents on the hearts. There we go. Just to give them a little bit of shine to kind of match the texture on the back of on the background paper. So that will be the last step that I do on my card though, is adding the glossy accents. So I'm going to go ahead and put my circle down. Kind of center it on this top part of the card up here. And then I'm going to put my wreath piece down as well. And then try and line it up so that the love and the cherish are going straight across the middle part. And then down here at the bottom, I have my congratulations already stamped, and that is so not going to focus. There we go. Congratulations, kind of in a cursive font, already stamped. I am going to trim it down just a little bit. So that it's not quite so long. Is that about right? And then the second wreath that I have cut, I'm going to fussy cut the hearts out of them. So something that you could do, another way to use this particular method of cutting it twice just to get the hearts, like if you wanted to do the wreath like in a green and you wanted the hearts to be in a different color, you could totally cut the wreath again, fussy cut out your hearts, and get kind of a different pattern or color layered on there. And there we go. So I'm going to decide if I want to trim my congratulations down just a little bit more, because I don't want it sticking out the end outside of my hearts. And kind of have my hearts overlapping there. Okay, that works. Put my adhesive on. And kind of line this up halfway between the bottom of the card and the bottom of my wreath. And then I am going to use some tear tape on my little hearts here. Another great idea or way to use these wreath dies, you could make some cool shaker cards with them. They would make some cute Christmas cards. That is another project that I will probably be doing here soon. Just trying to use them for some Christmas cards. Because I think this berry one right here would make a cute Christmas card wreath. Because you can do it in green and do your red berries. Okay, get my little hearts on here. This little guy is stubborn. Okay. And kind of overlap that little heart off the bottom of the sentiment, and there we go. So the last thing I'm going to do is add my glossy accents. Looking for a little scrap of something to test out. And this is why I test it out. Okay, I'm going to go unclog this guy. Okay, I don't know what was blocking it. I had just used it, so I'm not sure why it was clogged up. But here we go. Get that out of the way. So I'm just going to fill in both hearts up here on the top. Wreath with some glossy accents. Give them a little dimension, a little shine. And there we go. All right, so these were the fun projects I've made so far with this die, and I'm looking forward to playing with this set a lot more. So I will kind of jump you guys over to the computer, bring up their website, and kind of show you a little bit of what they have. They have a bunch of new dies out there that I love, so I'm definitely look forward to trying some of their other products. Okay, so here we are at their website for In Love Arts, and their web address is inloveartshop.com. And they have different sections here. They've got dies and stamps, laser machines, so they actually have machines that will laser cut items, 5D diamond painting, pillowcase, and then like track orders and about us. So as far as the products, like here's their stamps and dies. They have clear stamps and some theme stamp categories, and then new sets. And then the cutting dies. And so in the description of my video, I will include the code for the die set that I have if you guys are interested in purchasing. See, they have lots of different dies, large dies, small dies, alphabet dies, border dies, all different kinds of cool ones. Check them out. Like I said, I will leave their link in the description box below, along with the code for the die set that I have. If you have any questions on any of the products or projects that I made today, please let me know. I will leave dimensions and descriptions down in the description box below as well. Thanks for your time today, guys. I hope you have a crafty rest of your week.